Hello and welcome to the Hidden Cove. Today I am your host Harry and I will be taking you through a brief tour of Poorcana. But also in general, just welcome to the Hidden Cove. This is a group channel focused on Lorcana content with a unique twist. To give a brief explanation to anyone completely unfamiliar, Poorcana is a take on the popular Pauper format in other trading card games, like Magic and Pokemon, in which the card pool is limited to common rarity only. In Lorcana, that's that little circle on the bottom. However, all of the other traditional rules of a trading card game will still apply to this. Often a lot of these formats come with their own ban lists and nuances, however Poorcana is just Poorcana right now. We don't have a lot of progress on it, it's very new. So why should you care about Poorcana as a Lorcana player? Consider me a little bit of a format salesman today, so I'm going to make a little bit of a pitch as to why you should love this format, because it's great. I know I just said because it's great, but I'm going to explain to you why it's great. To put it simply, Lorcana is getting extremely expensive to maintain a relatively competitive interest, with budget lists getting increasingly less budget each format, and the depth of said formats becoming even more complicated. That isn't to say there's not depth to Poorcana, however for anyone looking to play a more casual, relaxing take on this game we love so much, I truly believe there is so much fun to be had here for you and your friends. Poorcana highlights a lot of the underutilized and ultimately underappreciated mechanics and synergies of Lorcana, without the stress of making sure you make top cuts in your latest set champs run. Whether you want to turn cards sideways, control the board, or ramp to big guys, Poorcana has a deck for you. And guess what? Any of the example lists I show you today that don't interest you? You can make your own take on the format and create your own individualized niche in this untouched metagame. Now, as I just mentioned, I will be showing some deck lists to give you all a little bit of a taster of what makes this little format so much fun, and I didn't want to disappoint. Starting off with a personal brew of mine, one of the spicier lists you'll be seeing today, Towering Invasives. A deck that utilizes the never-before-played Training Grounds to answer any and all threats that come your way. Training Grounds allows you to exert 1 ink to increase the strength of your chosen character by 1, an effect that doesn't exert or have a hard once per turn limit, meaning your opponent can have a 4/8 Mr. Snoops on board and you have no cards in hand? Exert 5 and swing your Sir Hiss to trade your 2-drop into their 6-drop 2-quester. This list succeeds at these valuable trades while taking advantage of the ever-tricky and resourceful evasive characters. You'll find Brawl as grade A removal in this format, as a lot of the strongest characters are often 2 or less power, so you'll have plenty of answers into that pesky Joshua suite. Provided you don't already tower over him with those big scary 1-drop minis, of course. This list is surprisingly ferocious and will leave your opponent staggered and impressed over your fun little synergies. With the introduction of the collector controversial Emerald Stitch in Azurite Sea, a card fellow Hidden Cove member Michael is still shaking his fist at since the moment it got revealed.
Alright. Here you go.
Woohoo! Who's laughing now? Shut up!
Your towering strategies get even more consistent. Go banish those Eudoras for me. Moving on to the next list, a close friend of the Hidden Cove channel is a huge fan of Aggro, so I did my best to create a shell for her to turn cards fiercely sideways in a brand new way. Introducing your newest worst nightmare, Joshua Suite. There's not a huge amount to say here other than the obscene consistency of a mostly inkable aggro shell cannot be understated. A list initially tricky to pilot but rewarding to master. Feel free to make little changes to suit your playstyle. You can even play Honey Wizard. That's right, a format where you can actually play those foil Honey Wizards. You can even still top deck gathering knowledge and wisdom at 18 lore like the incredibly talented and skillful player you are. Want something a little bit more familiar to your typical Lorcana-ing? How about fellow member of the Hidden Cove Nick's take on Poorcana's Sapphire Steel? Utilizing gems like Charge and Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer to make value trades while ramping into big scary questers? Don't like your opponent's Pua? Just shoot it with a cannon. Or how about something a little more mid-range and a little more recurrable? Utilize Gale and Crab endlessly in this cute little synergistic Amethyst Emerald list to make valuable trades while utilizing Poorcana's resident monsters. Dolores Madrigal Easy Listener and Kuzco Wanted Llama. Now as this is Nick's list, I'm not going to jump and suggest you don't play Megara, but take the hesitation as you will. Want something a little bit sillier? How about Hidden Cove's Ricky sharing his take on 7 Dwarves? That's right, a format where 7 Dwarves are playable. Well, a little playable. The strength boost Grumpy provides is certainly nothing to joke about, with Bashful utilizing his big butt and big questing potential to snatch victory out of your opponent's hands, all while whistling hi-ho in celebration.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's home from work.
And last but, certainly not least, is Michael of the Hidden Cove's take on Eudora Puppy Turbo featuring more puppies. The shell of a serious little engine is here. Synergizing Eric and Max to allow for Max to be a 2-cost 4-3 is scary tempo, especially if you spend the rest of your ramped ink playing 8 million Dalmatian puppies. Are there lists in this video you think could do with some serious tinkering? Or maybe you'd like to see some more examples of Poorcana brews to sink your teeth into? My personal dreamborn link with examples of all of our Poorcana lists will be provided in the description below. This is just to help anyone interested in learning more about our fledgling little format. The best part of everything I've shared here today, you could buy every single list mentioned in this video alongside twice as many Poorcana lists, and it would still cost less than your average Ruby Amethyst list. Don't take this number as exact, by the way, it's just to illustrate how affordable of a format this is to dabble in. Best part of this is most of you watching to this point probably already have the bulk laying around for 90% of these deck lists, and even if they're not exact, build them as you can and want. This format is silly and casual. Build it in the way you want to build it. Play with your friends in the way that you want to play it. With all the jank and format salesmaning aside, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me talk about Poorcana today. Here at the Hidden Cove, we want to provide you a space to enjoy the sillier side of Lorcana, alongside the competitive talk you may expect out of your Lorcana content creators. Have you enjoyed my rambles today? If you do, although I sometimes question why you would, you can find me at Twitch and Twitter at obmoharry. That's OBMO Harry. Got any suggestions for content for us to cover on this channel? Please be sure to let us know in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much for watching.